Hey guys, this is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about the best beginner flute books. So these are all books that you can use either with a teacher or on your own to start learning the flute. They're all geared towards people who haven't played the flute, and most of them also focus on music theory, so they're great even if you've never learned any instrument before. So if you like this, please like and subscribe below. And if you do want a teacher's help, I also offer online flute lessons. So that link will be in the description box as well, where you can sign up and we can start working together. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the method books. So the first book is Tried and True Rubank Elementary Method. It is part of a series where they have Elementary, Intermediate, Advanced Volume 1 and Advanced Volume 2. So there are 4 books in total for the flute. They also come in other instruments, clarinet, oboe, bassoon, all that. So it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $5 or $6. It is a little boring, especially for younger students. Here's the first bit of pages. It's all whole notes. It takes a while to actually get to songs and recognizable melodies in here. But it is good if you're self-teaching. At the top of each page there are different concepts introduced that you can learn, and there is a decent fingering chart at the beginning of the book. There are some duets, which could be nice if you have a friend or a teacher to play with, but if not, you can record yourself playing one part and play the other part with your recording. So yeah, it's not the most interesting for younger players, but for older players, people who are a bit more self-motivated, I think this is a great option. Also, if you are on a budget, it's a lot more affordable than some of the others that I will be talking about. All right, so next up is Flute 101, Mastering the Basics. So this is much newer than the Rubank. The Rubank's been around for like decades. This one, I'm not entirely sure, but copyright 2010, so about 10 years. But it has a good fingering chart in the beginning. It also talks about parts of the flute and what you should ask your teacher about if you have a teacher. Again, if you don't have a teacher but want one, contact me with the link down below. It also talks about how to practice. This one is very unique because it starts with exercises on the head joint. So it even has you taking your finger in and out of the head joint instead of just playing the one note that an open head joint can produce. So you can start playing Mary Had a Little Lamb and Hot Cross Buns. So that could be great for any age player. There are more melodies and then duets, so the teacher can play with the student. The teacher would be playing with their flute put together. But yeah, and then we get into learning the actual notes. Each lesson has some individual exercises, some duets, which again is nice with having a teacher or a friend. When I do duets with students, I have them turn their mic off so that they can hear me. I can't hear them, so I just rely on being able to see them holding their flute up, hoping they're on track with me, but I know that I can stay pretty consistent so that it gives the student a chance to practice playing with someone. And yeah, you learn quite a few notes, different time signatures, and is very comprehensive and good for beginners, or even if you've been playing for a few months but you just want something interesting, because there are a lot of cool songs in here. And then what I really like, and if you are a teacher yourself, they have a teacher's guide at the back about how to check the flute, how to teach embouchure, how to work with head joint, how to teach counting. So I think this is a great option. This is like closer to $20, so it's not cheap. However, if you are looking for something that you can use for quite a while and you find the Rubank to be a little bit boring, Flute 101 is a great option. All right, so this one is for all my British friends, and that is Trevor Y. Beginner's Book for the Flute Part 1. There's also a Part 2 that I don't have with me right now. And I say this is for my British friends because it uses the British terminology. So instead of quarter note, I believe they call it crotchet over there, and instead of eighth note, quaver, things like that. So if you are in the States, just be aware of those differences. If you're teaching out of this book, definitely tell your student about those differences as well. But it has some nice melodies. It doesn't start with a ton of quarter or whole notes like the Rubank, but it also gets into notes a little bit quicker than the Flute 101. It also has some funny stories. So it talks about a ancient Greek flute player whose only motive of playing the flute was to gratify his vanity, and he ended up dying at his first competition. It's very interesting. Lots of stories and images. So this is a good one. This, I believe, is like $9. So if you get Part 1 and Part 2, it is about $20. But it's a good choice for a lot of people. You don't have to be in the UK to use this. It's just beware of those terminology differences. All right, so another popular method book that I actually don't have, and I just don't own yet, is the Blocky Flute Method. From what I have heard, it is a great book for younger students. I'm not sure what it contains, but I have heard good things about it, so I will link it below if you're interested. But yeah, I haven't had the chance to teach flute to youngsters, so I just haven't gotten that. But then the last book that I want to talk about is one that a student actually introduced to me, and I believe this is about a year old, is Play Flute Today, the self-teaching method. So it is, again, great if you need to self-teach yourself. If you don't have a teacher, if you're self-teaching, it goes over the basics, like the parts of the flute, posture, breathing, getting a note out on the flute, and it has different lessons. Now, because this is a self-teaching method, it doesn't have duets or anything. If you do want to play a duet, if you're, say, a teacher, you can play the same thing as your student. You could maybe play it an octave above, an octave below, or you could even write your own harmony parts. But it does come with an online tool with audio tracks, which is great if you are teaching yourself. So you can make sure you get the notes right and the rhythms right. But yeah, it introduces new concepts each lesson, whether it's a new note, new term. But yeah, it's pretty decent. It's a pretty good one. I can't remember how much this costs. I'm gonna say probably 15 to 20, so it is a bit more of an investment than the Rubank, but it's great. It covers levels 1 and 2, and yeah. So those are some of my favorite / well-known method books. There are also the band books like Standard of Excellence, something Essentials, I'm not really sure, Those are great in a band setting, but when it comes to learning on your own or learning with a private teacher, getting a flute specific book will be more helpful because it will start on the notes that are easiest to get out on the flute, so it will keep you motivated. Whereas sometimes to have the flute fit in with the rest of the band, it will start on more difficult notes, like the note D uses almost all the tone holes to cover, so it can be hard to get the air to go through and to actually produce that note, whereas a lot of these books start with the note B, which is fairly open, and so it is easier to get a good sound with. So those are just my thoughts, and those are some of the best flute beginner books out there. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, and if you want to sign up with lessons with me, the link to my lesson studio page will be down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and come back for new videos each week.